do you worry that the party pooper could be the person who may be your biggest saviour a week ago, Elon Musk? You called him a bloody hero on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
You said you were expecting a reasonably sized donation. Do you still think that? He's saying remarks now attacking Britain, supporting Tommy Robinson. Is he now political kryptonite to you?
He's very supportive of me. He's very supportive of the party.
Right. Hello there. How are you? I so didn't want to cover the story, but I'm just going to have to cover it because it is just unbelievable where it's gone. If anyone has been paying any attention to what's happening on X, Elon Musk he's off the wall. The guy's gone mental. First of all, he comes out that he's going to be working with Trump, getting rid of all the detritus within the government in America. And then he comes out in support of Nigel Farage and the Reform Party Limited, which is a limited company. It's a party, and they've done really well, and they've garnered a lot of support. But everyone started asking themselves, where's the support come from? Well, the support has to have come from somewhere. These people have just come out of the blue, and otherwise you might think, well, this is just the zeitgeist of the UK at the minute. Everybody is fed up of Labour. They're fed up of the Conservatives. Therefore, Reform Party are the ones we want. Now, there's nothing necessarily that the Reform Party are asking for that I disagree with, but there is a personality problem within the Reform Party. There's a tone problem within the Reform Party. And my question is, when this character, Tommy Robinson, is the problem, he's such a small person creating huge problems for people. He, if you didn't know, used to be the leader of what was known here in the UK as the EDL, the English Defence League. They were initially just a small group of essentially football thugs. Sorry to generalise like that, but that's what they were. Where people, the members of which didn't really have the ability to observe nuance or anything like that. They just basically hated Muslims existing in the UK, and that was that. They saw that the communities of Muslims were growing, and they didn't like it. And then, of course, we started having all the issues around the grooming gangs, but that came later. So the EDL sort of supposedly disbanded because Tommy Robinson left. Tommy Robinson was then paid by the Quilliam Foundation, led by Maajid Nawaz, and they were going to turn him around and turn him into a non-radical, which kind of worked for a little bit. And then the bombing on Westminster Bridge happened, and he came out and started blaming all Muslims again for that, which Maajid Nawaz called him out on and cut ties with him, sort of banned him from appearing on the Maajid show on LBC. And then that was kind of that. And then Tommy Robinson went off and joined Rebel News, Rebel Media, and suddenly started calling himself a journalist because he had a mobile phone and a YouTube account. And he Ezra Levant, he sort of chummied up with him and started having a steady cash flow coming in. And he'd run around with his mobile phone to cover any stories that were Muslimy. And he would cover the stories. And the thing for me, and the thing I observed about him, was that everything he did, the sum of everything he did, was negative towards Muslims. Maybe sometimes Islam, because he learned from Sam Harris, he learned from Maajid that you have to separate the ideas from the people, and he tried to doing that, and then he went off onto Good Morning Britain, and he started slamming he got out the Quran and started waving it around in the air and seriously offending Piers Morgan.
Every single Muslim watching this video on YouTube, on 7/7, you got away with killing and maiming British citizens. You got away with it.
No, unless I'm mistaken, you are addressing all Muslims in that statement, right?
Yep.
You accept that?
I accept.
This guy, who's just a loose cannon, and he learned pretty much how to garner this support and monetize it. So it's just what he did. And every time people started having a go at him or whatever, he started talking about this was his freedom of speech. And then they had the big rally in Whitehall where all these characters came out in support of him. He got the attention of people like Sargon of Akkad and Count Dankula.
On the left, Mark Meechan, convicted last year for teaching his girlfriend's dog the Nazi salute. And on the right, Carl Benjamin, who once tweeted Labour MP Jess Phillips, "I wouldn't even rape you."
I just call myself a traditionalist at this point. It's probably the furthest right you can go.
And that's kind of the sum of where we were at. And then Reform Party comes along, led by Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage had been arguing for a long time that he wasn't a political guy anymore. He was a presenter. He was presenting a show on GB News.
Our duty as broadcasters is not to be impartial.
And then he changed his mind. He says, no, I'm a political person. I'm not a presenter. I'm a political person, and I'm going to be the head of this party because I think we've got a good chance. Became very good chums with Trump. To me, it feels a little bit like Nigel's a parasite around Trump. He sort of keeps popping up and going, hi, Donald, I'm here. And Trump sort of, because he's kind of loyal to people he's loyal to, keeps giving Farage the mentions that he requires. And then, of course, along comes Elon Musk with X, having bought over the very left-wing Twitter, turned it into X, and it's now become a free speech mess where there's a massive conflation between what's free speech, what isn't. And it is, for me, I don't know what's going on with the algorithm, but it's just a very unpleasant place to be for me. But I go there anyway. Because I don't care. I'm not offended by what people say or what people think. I decide how I feel. So anyway, the Reform Party come into existence. But, guess what? Nigel's going to set it up as a limited company. He set it up as a limited company that is registered on Companies House with the government. He is the director of that company and a couple of other people as well. We've got the Telegraph working alongside Reform. We've got GB News working alongside Reform. We've got the next president of the United States supporting Reform, and then, lo and behold, the owner of Twitter is now supporting Reform, and there's stories breaking that Elon Musk is going to give millions to the Reform Party to help them grow, and then off goes Nigel with his new treasurer to America to meet Elon Musk and cap in hand, begging for some money. Nothing comes, and he comes back and he makes statements about the fact that him and Elon are getting on really well, and I'm sure the support will come soon.
He's very supportive of me. He's very supportive of the party.
Then we get, oh my God, it's so brilliant. And then you've got Elon Musk then starts tweeting out that Tommy Robinson shouldn't be in prison. The reason Tommy Robinson's in prison is because he was in contempt of court.
He sees Robinson as one of these people that fought against the grooming gangs. But of course the truth is Tommy Robinson's in prison, not for that, but for contempt of court for the third occasion. But I mean, equally, there are people in Britain who think that Robinson is a political prisoner. That's the narrative that he's pushed out. That's how he earns his living, but it isn't quite true.
Would you accept Robinson as a member of your party? You quit UKIP over the association with him last time.
No. Look, Robinson has been to prison many, many times for many, many things. Mortgage fraud, passport problems, you name it. He's got his own campaign. We are a political party aiming to win the next general election. He's not what we need.
There was one occasion back in 2019, I think it was, where the grooming gangs court cases were happening, and Tommy was out there live on Facebook trying to grab interviews with them as they went in, and was shouting abuse at them, and they, exposing who they were, which is, so many people would just say, well, that's fine, I'm okay with that. But what it does legally is it prejudices their case, which means they could get off scot-free. So he was helping them. He was helping their case. So everyone saw that, apart from Tommy, who's too stupid, even though he calls himself a journalist, he doesn't understand basic journalism.
Now, I'm walking a thin line because basically the police put me on this I'm on a suspended prison sentence, which was supposed to be to prevent me or deter me from reporting on these sort of cases. I think I have to be super careful.
And then he does that, and then he gets in trouble, and then he goes and makes a documentary where he says this young lad who attacked this other lad was he was a Muslim, and it was all he was an illegal immigrant, and blah blah blah. I don't know what he was saying. That documentary was deemed to be untrue. The lad took Tommy to court, and Tommy lost the case and had to pay him money, but continued to make the accusations anyway in the documentary, and he played the documentary publicly. I think he did it at least twice. And the second time he did it, there was a warrant put out for Tommy's arrest. The second time he did it, Tommy then immediately ran off to Greece or Spain or somewhere with his family, spending the coffers that he'd acquired from donations from the hundreds of thousands of ex-EDL members who were now both members of Reform and both followers of Tommy Robinson.
English Defence League reunion. Which city shall we hit? Put your comments underneath. We're coming back with a bang. Just when you thought you got rid of us.
Correct me if I'm getting any of this wrong, right, by the way, right? So Tommy Robinson disappears off to Spain, and then eventually comes back, is arrested immediately, and then and he says, oh, I'm being arrested because I'm a prisoner, I've got free speech, blah, blah, blah. No, he was arrested because he was held in contempt of court because he kept playing the accusation that was made against this kid when the kid had already won a court case to say that that wasn't true. So he was like, I don't know what the legal details of it are, I'm interested less. So that happened. So lies were going around all over the place about the reasons why Tommy Robinson was being arrested. While Tommy Robinson was in jail. Of course, we then had Nigel Farage was coming through talking about all these migrants coming in, the illegal immigration system, which is terrible and shocking and needs to stop. And I don't know why we aren't puncturing boats before they even get on the beaches in France. But these people are still coming over. They've been put up in hotels here in the UK. It's costing an absolute fortune. And they're being given medical care, dentistry care, I understand, and all sorts. And they're not being... We can't get rid of them. We can't fly them away. When Conservatives were in power, the Labour Party were doing their best to stop every action the Conservatives made to try and get rid of them. And now the Labour in power, they're not doing anything. They want to keep them here and are just helping them as much as they can. So we've got people getting outraged. We've got all the Tommy fans, meanwhile, taken to the streets, and they're setting fire. They're starting to set fire using social media, Facebook being their social media of choice, arranging and calling for hotels to be set fire to, and all these calls to action are happening on social media. These people are getting put in jail because of things they've done, not things they've said.
Men will rise up. We're always going to rise up. They have to rise up to defend their families. You've brought this war on our shores. You've brought danger on our shores. You cowards.
It's got nothing to do with saying mean things on social media. It's to do with them encouraging other people to commit crimes and do harm, or it's to do with the fact you've been caught on camera throwing bricks or starting fires or vandalizing things. And it's definitely an element of we're going to have to teach you all a lesson, and we're going to have to set a standard of behaviour to stop people doing this in future. People are being made an example of for sure, and I bet a lot of people are going to be let out long before the times that we've been told that they're going to be, the time that we've been told they're going to be doing in prison anyway. Cut back to Elon Musk, who's now decided today, and I can show you, it's unbelievable, isn't it? He's here, he's just said, because Nigel Farage is not supporting Tommy Robinson, you've got to bear in mind that Nigel Farage left UKIP because... he left UKIP because they were encouraging Tommy Robinson to join and become an advisor. So Nigel Farage then leaves UKIP. And here's Elon Musk saying the Reform Party needs a new leader. Farage doesn't have what it takes. I don't know if it'll have... Oh, and then we got UKIP down here, look. Elon, why don't you check out UKIP? A real patriotic party who aren't afraid to stand up for the Liberal establishment and the far left. We stand with Tommy Robinson and unite the Kingdom movement, whatever that means. Elon doesn't really... know what life in the United Kingdom was like before Americans keep calling it Great Britain. Life in the United Kingdom was before Trump, really, 2016. They don't know anything about Thatcher years. They don't know anything about the start of multiculturalism. They don't know anything about the British National Party or the EDL. They don't know about the troubles that came out of that, the massive racism, the difficulty in all people from different countries setting themselves up here, and the way that they were rejected by society. And then British people accepted people from other countries. Multiculturalism seemed like a great thing during the Blair years. It's like we were all full on board with that. And then it's got to a stage where, well, hold on, we are now living almost completely separate lives to one another. There's people who are of the Muslim faith, and they've got their churches and they've got their lives, and now they're all living in different communities and cities and towns. And the people who are the majority English or British or Scottish or Irish or Welsh, all those people are living separate lives. And although we all want to just get along, we're not really. We're sort of just living separate lives because the governments in the UK have set up, their right to practice their religion, and that. If you are a conservative in that religion, then that means you can't really integrate. You can't marry into anybody else, any other culture but your own. So things like that have started happening, and it's got to a fore. And then Tommy, where do you think everyone who left the EDL went? Where do you think they are now? They've joined Reform. So when we saw all these escalating numbers in Reform, you can bet your bottom dollar it was because Tommy Robinson said he supports the Reform Party. When we had the last election, Tommy Robinson made a little video, and that's all he has to do. And then you got like the lads on Lotus Eaters are admitting that all Tommy Robinson has to do is call for the Football Lads Alliance to rock up in London, and they will tear through the streets and do whatever Tommy bids. So this is the situation we're at. But I do love where we're at, that Elon Musk has just said that Nigel Farage doesn't have what it takes to lead the Reform Party, especially when the Reform Party are a limited company registered with Companies House, and of which Nigel Farage is the managing director. What do you think? Let me know down below. Take care. Bye-bye.